Most buyer leads don't text you back, not because they're bad leads, but because the first text that you're sending them is killing the conversation. So today I'm going to give you 3 proven scripts that you can just copy and paste into your business and send to buyer leads to get them to engage. And sometimes you'll see responses within just a couple of minutes. My name's Emma Pace, and I've been a top producing real estate agent for the last 10 years. The thing that I love the most about this business is marketing and sales. So I now run a marketing agency with my business partner, Ryan, where we generate high intent leads for real estate agents, and we give them the tools to get those leads to engage and convert into appointments. And what I've realized is if you don't fix this one piece, this first text that goes out, then you're going to continue to waste money on these leads that ghost you. But if you do fix that first text that goes out, or a couple of these texts that you can send to dead leads, then you're going to start to see your engagement go up, your number of consultations that you book go up, and the number of showings that you're doing will go through the roof. And the colleagues in your office are going to be wondering what the heck it is that you're saying to the leads in your database. So let's hop into the 3 proven scripts now. And if you find any value in this, then like and subscribe, because we're trying to grow the channel and bring you more value. Thing I want you to know is how I built these scripts so that you can go about creating your own in the future. You can copy and paste the ones I'm going to give you today, but in case you want to make any changes to them, you'll know exactly what I did. So I'm just going to give you the formula for that now. So in sales, open-ended questions is what we usually recommend that you ask on the phone, but it's definitely not what you want to ask in your text message. So an open-ended example, and these typically fail, this might be what you're doing right now, is asking, hey, so when are you looking for a home? Or when do you think that you're going to be ready to buy? Those types of questions are not like yes or no, or they don't give them a choice to select. And so oftentimes it's way too broad. They freeze or ignore because they don't know how to respond to these things. It puts too much pressure on them to sit down and give you a long explanation. And it's really easy to ghost you because they feel like homework, because now they have to think about coming up with a whole paragraph explanation. So I don't do that. They're great questions for sales calls, but they're not good for text. So instead, for text, what we're going to do is use what I call choice select examples. And these are the ones that are easiest for people to reply to. So that would be are you leaning towards X or X? Would it be helpful to see listings in X or Y, right? And so this works because they're more multiple choice than they are an essay from a response. And again, the objective of the actual text when you send a text to somebody is just to get an engagement, to get the conversation started, and then we can move the ball down the field. Making it too high pressure on that first initial conversation with someone who's a stranger is it's putting too much friction in the process, and it's going to be really hard to even just get the conversation started. So I find that these choice select examples are much easier. So make the multiple choice right from the answer. They're really quick for the person to be able to answer. They feel very casual. And like I said, it's useful information that you're going to get so that you can continue to follow up with them in the future, whether it's calling or emailing, and you have engagement from them. All right. So let's break down the 3 exact scripts today that will get you replies. So the first one that I'm going to go through, there's going to be 3. One is what you can send as an opener. So the very first text that you can send somebody when they opt in to be a lead. The second one I'm going to show you is the re-engager. So somebody that's been in your database for a long time and you're they've ghosted me. What can I send them to get them re-engaged? And the third one will be more of an appointment style one. So somebody that maybe you have a relationship with, but you need to get a little bit more information out of them. So those are the 3 we're going to go through today. So the opener, this is going to be a very, like I said, low pressure, easy to answer, starts a conversation naturally. And that's going to look like this. Hey, Alex, just curious, are you more interested in houses or condos right now? So sometimes we'll be running let's say a first-time buyer lead magnet, and maybe you live in a city where a first-time buyer could potentially buy a starter home, or they might buy a condo, right? Or if you live in a city where it's, they might be buying a townhouse, or they might be buying a detached property, right? Hey, Alex, just curious, are you more interested in detached homes, or were you looking more townhomes? Were you looking more at apartments, or were you looking more at this, right? So what you want to do is just give them an easy answer of, were you looking for 2-bedroom condos, or were you looking for 3-bedroom condos, right? So depending on what they've opted in for, that you want to think of what is the natural next step. If somebody was to sign up for this thing and give me their contact information, what would be the next thing that I would need to know from them? Well, maybe they downloaded a list of condos. All right, well, then I would want to know, do you want 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom condos? Do you want condos that are modern, or do you want something that's smaller and modern, or bigger and older or something like that, right? Give them a choice select. So that's a really easy way to open it. The way that I like to think about the opener is they've just signed up for something. What would be a natural question that I could ask them based on what they've signed up for to get them to like give me some direction of how I might be able to continue to follow up with them. So, like I said, an example would be like maybe it's a first-time buyer guide that they're signing up for. Awesome. Hey, saw that you signed up for my buyer guide. Are you looking for starter, like freehold homes, or would you also consider condos? I'm considering both. Okay, perfect. Now you can start sending them both options. Or I'm not considering condos. I only want houses. Now you know how to follow up with them from there. So that's the opener. All right. Now let's talk about the re-engager. So the re-engager is going to pull ghosted leads back in by giving them just a simple choice. So like maybe somebody you were going on showings with, for example, and then they just stop responding to you. Hey, Sarah, quick question. And what you'll see is like, I always say, hey, your name, some type of like disarming statement, or like, just don't go right into the question. Hey, just curious, quick question, some type of bridging statement to lower the sales pressure, right? So, hey, Sarah, quick question. Are you leaning towards buying this year, or were you thinking about waiting until next year? And that's like if somebody fell off the map. Hey, quick question. I know you stopped looking for homes. Are you still thinking about buying this year, or are you going to wait until next year? And it's like, nah, we're going to wait until next year. Okay, awesome. Well, people who are waiting until next year, this is what they usually do. Boom. So again, it's a natural cadence of continuing the conversation and understanding how you're going to be able to follow up with them. All right. So that's the re-engager. And then the last thing is going to be the appointment setter. And so with the appointment setter, it's how do we move the conversation towards an action while still giving you a little bit of control. So with this one, I've dropped this off, but again, you can do the same thing. Hey, Sarah, quick question. Hey, Sarah, I was just curious. Would it be more helpful if I sent you a list of homes in neighborhood A or neighborhood B? What you'll notice with this particular one is they don't say yes or no, or I don't. They could come back and say like, I don't want the list of homes. But for the most part, you would say like, is it more helpful if I send you a list of homes in like Leslieville or Distillery District? Would it be more helpful if I sent you a list of homes in Toronto or Mississauga? And they would say Mississauga. And then you can say, and then you can continue the conversation and say, okay, that's amazing. And you can even go back to the opener. Awesome. Would you be interested in like houses or condos in Mississauga? So you can continue to move the ball down the field. And I'm going to give you one secret thing that I wasn't even planning on putting this in the video today, but I'm just going to tell you this. When somebody comes back, and sometimes if you string too many of these things together, like if you string too many choice selects, it can kind of feel a little like being interrogated, right? Are you looking for this or this? Okay, great. How about this or this? How about this? You're like, oh my God, like, am I in like an interrogation room? And so if you ever get to a point where you're asking enough questions and they're like, why are you asking me so many questions? This is how you diffuse it. I'm sorry for asking you so many questions. I'm only asking this because I only want to send you things that are actually valuable to you. And the more information I have, that means the more valuable the information will be. I don't want to clog up your inbox, or I don't want to clog up, our text message thread with stuff that isn't of interest to you. So I just wanted to explain that coming off the back of being able to piece these together as though they're like Lego blocks. So you might do the opener and then the appointment setter. You could do the appointment setter and you could do the opener. Sometimes you can string them together. But if you string too many of them together, then sometimes it can feel a little interrogation-y. That's not a word, but you get the vibe. And if you ever get the sense that you're like kind of annoying somebody because you're trying to get that information, because sometimes I get that sense too. I'm like, I don't want to annoy someone, but like I also don't want to just send them a bunch of generic fluff where they stop opening my emails. I will use that one statement, which basically says, hey, I know I'm asking you a lot of questions and I really don't mean to. And we're saying this genuinely because this is how we feel. I don't want you to feel like I'm interrogating you. The reason that I'm asking you these questions is because I care about sending you valuable information, and I just don't want to clog up your inbox with fluff that isn't of interest to you. I only want to send you stuff that's of value. And then people are like, okay, that makes sense. So that's how you would handle that objection on the back end. That's just a little bonus. And so to conclude this video, the key takeaways are, don't ask, what are you looking for? Those open-ended questions are more for like what you should say on the phone, so we can naturally continue that conversation. In the text, do ask, which of these two options fits you best to make it low friction and easy for somebody to respond. So easy answers means more replies, and more replies means more engagement, and more engagement means more appointments. If you found any value in this video, then give me a like and subscribe, because I got a lot more coming down the pipe for you. See you in the next one.